Today I'm watching the Twilight Zone Season 1, Episode 29. The previous episode was about this character, Rocky, who ended up in hell, and his version of hell was getting everything that he wanted, all the money, women, gambling, like he had this beautiful apartment, anything that he wanted, and this guy named Pip, he thought he was going to heaven. He was in fact in hell, and it was a really interesting episode. I enjoyed it. There was no next time on the Twilight Zone in the previous episode, so I have no idea what this episode is about, which is nice, but I'm also curious, and sometimes it's nice to have those little, tidbits as to what we're getting into. So no idea what this episode is about, but thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. It's giving me like Village of the Damned vibed. Just this blonde child sitting there.
Ones, noisy ones, all kinds. I teach school.
I know. I know all about you.
Okay, that's not creepy at all. Little kids in like horror movie stuff freaks me out. Ugh.
Hot chocolate.
I know. But you don't like marshmallows, do you?
And she knows that how? Even the way she's like holding her hands feels very like adult.
Oh, don't you think we ought to tell your mother where you are? We wouldn't want her to be worried.
That won't be necessary.
Yeah, and like what little kid talks like this? Yeah, it definitely feels like, Village of the Damned or something.
She will understand what are the properties of terror. A little girl will lead her by the hand and walk with her into a nightmare.
Oh my god, this is so grim. And even that shot we had before with the little girl sitting and like almost like glaring, over her shoulder was terrifying. I'm worried for Helen.
Of course you don't. You got burnt once. That scar right below your elbow.
Oh my god, this kid. Oh my god, that's a massive scar. Cheese and rice.
Well, actually, I don't remember.
How does she not remember? What? This little girl's freaking me out. And again, we haven't had a ton of like child actors in this show, so that's interesting to have one as like our villain almost. Like she seems very creepy.
I know that. I know that very well. I know all about you. Don't you remember?
Have they met before? Like, am I missing something? What's going on?
Yes, today. Did someone go by you today who looked familiar?
And I feel like that's such like a common thing. Like, yeah, what's going on?
Did you remember?
Yeah, can this little girl like read her mind or something? What's going
What are
on?
you talking about?
I know he looks familiar, and I know he frightens me, just like he frightens you.
Okay, very curious. Yeah, who is this guy that they're both seeing?
But that's what people call me. Marky, did you hear?
Yes, I heard Marky.
And that's not her real name?
It's a very cute name. What more did you want me to say?
Nothing.
This lady's like instantly regretting taking this kid into her apartment and offering her hot chocolate.
Her apartments.
I know that, but whoever's coming is coming here. I'm going out the back door. I don't want to be here.
Look, honey, there's no...
Oh my gosh. What is she? Yeah.
I'll come back later.
And she's like, see you, bye. Enjoy this strange person. Oh my gosh. What's going on?
Do you remember me?
Well, you do look familiar.
Ah, ha, 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 ha. That seems to be the running theme. Yeah, that's got to be the guy. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I was stopped for a red light. I thought you looked at me a little oddly.
But she said she was scared of him, so what's going on?
You drew a blank after that evening. I wonder if it ever came back to you.
Was he involved?
Town on business, and someone pointed you out to me, and I wanted to stop and just say hello.
I don't trust him. I feel like he's here to like cover his butt or something, like he was involved.
The way you have. Just as beautiful as you were when you were a little girl. I had quite a crush on you. I lived in the same apartment.
Oh god, what a thing. That's horrible. This guy sucks. Ugh.
tragic, terrible thing, your mother being killed like that.
I was gonna say, like, her mom must have died, because why would she be sent to live with her aunt? Like, especially after an accident.
No, I don't think they did.
That's still so sad. And yeah, never got the person.
I don't really know. I'm not sure. It's one of the things I've forgotten, or at least pushed out of my mind.
I feel like Peter is the one who's up to no good. Because why else would you...
I thought she'd finished her cocoa, and here it is, untouched.
We did see her drink from it, but yeah, that kid is...
Little Marky, that's what she calls herself.
That was your nickname, Miss Foley, when you were a little girl.
Oh, shoot. What? That little girl was her? Oh. Oh my god. Spooky. The little kid version of her, like, came to warn her or something. I don't know. That's creepy, though. Ooh. Yeah, I'm curious what she's actually going to remember. Now, clearly she forgot her own nickname from childhood, which seems strange.
I'm sure that given time, you'll remember a lot of things.
I don't trust him. Oh my gosh. Ah.
I didn't know. Full of talents, our little Marky.
And that would make sense how she knew that, you know, the scar and how she was feeling and what she was thinking, because it's the same person.
Little child. And you look so like your mother. Especially now.
Oh, this guy needs to take 3 steps back. Gross. Get out of here.
But, Miss Foley, what don't you understand?
Yeah, that's exactly the little girl that showed up. Yep. Oh my gosh. And she wouldn't recognize a younger version of herself also. Oh, and having the double exposure of the memory is super cool. I really like it. Yeah, as things are coming back to her.
Listen, this money can...
That looks like Peter. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Just to have it in silhouette. Yeah, and then his face in shadow. That looks like him, though.
I'm gonna go, Marky. It's rather late, you know. It's past your bedtime. Don't you think you ought to go home? Your mother will be worried.
And like how weird, like she knows it's her younger self now, and she's just like...
A nasty burn. Right below the elbow.
Yeah, and she's got the same scar. Yeah, because you're the same person.
And you were doing so well, Helen. You were starting to remember things.
Yeah, such an interesting concept, having a younger version of herself going back to try and, you know, set loose some of these memories.
Familiar?
She's like, look, it's me. Like, I'm trying to tell you that this is what's going on.
And she tried to get away, and she ran into your room, and a man caught her, and he choked her. Helen?
Oh my gosh, that's so horrible.
Then he picked up something heavy, and he hit her on the head. Then she fell.
I feel like she's blocked all this out yet, doesn't want to think about it. Now she's forced to face those memories.
Then you screamed so loud, Helen. You screamed so loud.
Oh, and he's back. Oh my gosh, yep, that's him.
I want to bring you up to date, Miss Foley. You've been living with ignorance too long.
He's here to, like, confirm that he did this? What?
Be the first. I want to be the very first. That night, it was me in your bedroom.
Yes! Yes! He's fully admitting it! Like, come on!
Oddly enough, Helen, I'd have had to come after you next.
This guy's terrifying. Oh my god.
That I learned that you had no recollection of who was in the bedroom. You blacked out the whole incident.
Yeah, I think the trauma of it, her memory just blacked it out. Oh my gosh.
Chicago, college here. I've been keeping tabs on you.
He's just like been following her. What a creep.
To come back, Helen. To take care of the unfinished business. You're the only person who knows how your mother died.
Oh, he's like, yeah, you're a witness to my crimes. Oh my gosh. Come on, come on. Yeah, he just openly admitted it. Oh my god. Somebody answer their door, please. This is terrifying. Oh, bye. Yeah, she's like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with this. Oh my gosh. On the same stairs. Yeah, we had the little girl on too.
A memory, a recollection that finally had to come out. And when it did, it took the form of herself as a child.
Yeah, she finally had to confront these things, and that's how it manifested.
Human imagination is often weird. Sometimes it means salvation.
Yeah, that was the only way she was going to confront it, is she needed the younger version of herself to, like, force it out. So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 29. I like episodes and TV shows and movies that deal with things like memory. I think that's really interesting, and obviously we saw that play a big part in this episode. I do feel like it was pretty obvious when we found out that Helen's nickname was Marky, that the little girl was her. From there, again, it felt pretty predictable, and again, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just feel like we didn't really have that big twist ending that we usually have, and an interesting interpretation of memory. And when we first met Marky, and again, the child actor, the great performances from everybody in the show, so well done. And when we first meet Marky, she seems very poised, and I thought we were gonna go more, Children of the Damned, Village of the Damned, something like that, because she was very, expressionless. She wasn't, this like joyous, bubbly character that you would expect a child to be. Like we saw the little girl at the stairs at the end of the episode with her doll. Like the way she was sitting, the way she was talking was very vague, but it also felt very like adult. It didn't feel like how a child would talk. And I thought maybe she was going to be our villain. I thought maybe she was going to have something, that she was going to hurt Helen or something like that. And the way that she was able to tap into how Helen was feeling and thinking, obviously we find out later that's because she is Helen when she was a little girl. But my first thought was this girl has some kind of ability, she mentions a scar. She mentions that she doesn't like marshmallows in her hot chocolate. And, all of these things that someone who would have to know you really well to know, she instantly knows. And, she's just sitting there, and Helen, being a teacher, instantly, goes over to this little girl and says like, oh, like, where's your mom? Let's talk to your parents, something like that. But obviously we find out that Helen and Marky's mom has passed away tragically, and she's the only witness to this crime. And when she said she mentioned someone familiar, I was like, are we gonna do another doppelganger situation? Is that where we're gonna go? But of course the familiar face was the one that, whether she genuinely did forget or her mind and body forced her to forget this horrible trauma and, just erased it because it was too traumatic for her to deal with, which I've heard can happen, that if something this bad happens, your body just blocks it out to prevent you from dealing with it and dealing with the shock of that. And, when she happened when she was 10, she was so young. And, this guy obviously showing up, he, to me, was very suspicious, because I was like, you worked for her mom for a year 11 years ago, and now you're checking up on her. And also he kept referring to like he had a crush on her, which just seemed really creepy, and like, oh, you look like your mother, and like it was just giving creepy off the charts. And like it seemed odd that he would check up on somebody's, that he had worked for, their kid, 11 years later, unless he had some interest. And obviously he was checking, testing the waters to see if he remembered, him, and that he was the one who had in fact killed her mom. Which again, like, who does that? Like, what a creep. Like, he kills her mom and then goes back to check on her and says like, oh, I've been following you, watching you through college, and like keeping tabs on her to make sure that she doesn't, wake up one day and suddenly go turn him in. But, he passes away in this episode after falling down the stairs, and he doesn't even try to like hide it. He openly admits it, saying like, yes, I killed her, she was gonna rat me out, I was doing something I wasn't supposed to. And yeah, great performances all around. Majority of the episode obviously taking place in Helen's apartment and the stairs, but again, I really like those limited cast, one setting episodes. I think really highlights the story. And again, it did feel a bit predictable to me once we find out that she is the child. And and that Peter was the one who had killed her mom. But just to see her processing that and have the memories coming back, and that double exposure shot was my favorite of this episode, with, Helen, head in her hands, trying to remember, and then having the scene, replay, and you can't see the person's face in her memory. It's, in shadow, it's at night, and the fact that Helen's screams are what, saved her basically, because she's, now alerted other people, and that Peter was going to go in there and kill her too, which is horrible. And obviously, like, trying to get this revenge is what ends up killing him in the end, because he's falling down these stairs. And the fact that Helen couldn't remember, makes her this unreliable narrator, and, what's real, what actually happened, and that Marky's, she does come out and outright say it towards the end of the episode, but for the majority of the episode, it's very much vague answers and like, well, don't you know? Like, she's trying to help her get to this on her own without spilling it, but she has to eventually. And hearing the detectives talk at the end that this was basically a manifestation of her own mind. Obviously, Marky wasn't actually there, but that her mind created this because something inside of her said, you need to deal with this, you need to process this. And I think the fact, too, that she was back, it sounds like this is the first time Helen had been back in the city where everything had happened. She had been living away, ever since the accident, and that probably also, and, seeing Peter probably obviously triggered some kind of memory that she didn't realize, and that, she needed 10-year-old Marky to come back and force it out of her and force her to confront those things. So I thought that was an interesting approach in dealing with grief and loss and memory, and how horrible would that be to be the only witness to your mother's, murder, and you've just repressed it for so long and now you're forced to deal with it. So I thought that was an interesting approach to have for an episode. I didn't recognize any of the actors in this episode, but I thought they did such a good job. And again, a child actor who we've now started to see more of. We had in a previous episode as well, and the performances are so well done, and she did such a good job. And yeah, I think it can make or break the episode, but it was so great. We know that the next episode is about this rail car, this state of mind. So yeah, very curious to see where that's gonna go. But I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was well done. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. And she knows that how? Even the way she's like holding her hands feels very like adult. Oh my god, this kid. Oh my god, that's a massive scar. I don't trust him. I feel like he's here to like cover his butt or something, like he was involved. Just to have it in silhouette. Yeah, and then his face in shadow on the same stairs. Yeah, we had the little girl on too.